Humans are making a mistake, and the last species that made this mistake has completely vanished from the Earth. The Mosasaur ruled the oceans for 25 million years. 17 meters long with a bite force of 11 tons. It could bite a shark in half. It could hunt down prey at speeds of 40 kilometers per hour. No natural predators, no rivals. Standing at the absolute top of the food chain. But 66 million years ago, it was completely wiped out in less than 15 years. Why did all this happen? April 2024, in the Mississippi River bed, a massive vertebra was unearthed, over 18 centimeters wide. Scientists were stunned on the spot. This might be the largest mosasaur fossil ever discovered in the state. But something even more shocking followed. Just at last year's international conference, researchers released the results of a new analysis of a mosasaur specimen. Its stomach was filled with the skeletal remains of juvenile sea turtles corroded by stomach acid, unidentified animal remains, and even the bones of birds or bird-like dinosaurs. What does this mean? This creature didn't just rule the sea. It even struck down those flying in the sky. But here's the question. Over the past 200 years, every textbook, every museum, and every documentary depicted the mosasaur as a giant lizard that slithered slowly like a sea snake. But if it were really that slow, how could it catch a shark swimming at 40 kilometers per hour? How could it bite a pterosaur gliding low over the ocean surface? The answer is bone-chilling. A fossil unearthed in Jordan in 2013 completely overturned everything. This exceptionally well-preserved fossil showed a massive double-lobed tail fin at the end of the mosasaur's tail. Its shape was like an inverted shark tail. Scientists did the math. This propulsion system allowed the mosasaur to accelerate to 48 kilometers per hour in just 1 second. 1 second. This meant no prey in the ocean could escape its pursuit. It wasn't an ambush hunter. It was the ultimate pursuit killer. Even more terrifying was its mouth. The mosasaur's lower jaw could open 180 degrees like a snake, swallowing prey larger than its own head. It had 2 rows of teeth. The outer row was responsible for piercing, while the inner row, located deep in the throat, was hooked. Once prey slipped inside, it was like falling into a 2-way meat grinder. They were simply dragged alive into the stomach to be digested. Fossils found by scientists in Morocco show a 6-meter-long sea turtle with a shell 10 centimeters thick, bitten right through by a mosasaur. The bite marks were 4 centimeters deep. The sharks of that era were nothing more than spicy snacks in its mouth. But you would never imagine that the ancestor of this ultimate ocean god was actually a small lizard sunbathing on a rock. 98 million years ago, a small lizard called Ankylosaurus was less than a meter long. It spent its days catching small fish on coastal rocks. But the land was full of dinosaurs. Abelisaurs ate Ankylosaurus eggs for breakfast, and pterosaurs dove from the sky to snatch them. The small lizards were under immense pressure. So one day, a pregnant Ankylosaurus mother made a crazy decision to give birth in the sea. This decision changed the fate of the entire species. In just 3 million years, webbing grew between the descendants' toes, and their tails became flat and long. Another 17 million years later, their limbs completely regressed into flippers, and their bodies evolved a streamlined shape. From a 1-meter lizard to a 17-meter behemoth, it only took the mosasaur a mere 20 million years. To put it in perspective, whales took 50 million years to achieve a similar leap in size. The mosasaur's evolution speed was nearly 3 times faster than that of mammals. October 2023, scientists in North Dakota discovered a new species named Jormungandr walhalensis. The name comes from the giant serpent in Norse mythology. This fossil filled a critical gap in the mosasaur evolutionary chain. By the Late Cretaceous period, mosasaurs had completely dominated the global oceans. Their diet included fish, sharks, sea turtles, and plesiosaurs, even including pterosaurs flying low over the sea to catch fish. That's right, when they were starving, they would even eat their own relatives. Scientists have calculated that, among the discovered mosasaur fossils, over 30% of the bones have bite marks from their own kind. In 2010, on a fossil skull discovered in North America, there were 43 bite marks, all of which were made by other mosasaurs. This ruthless nature of not even sparing kin allowed them to sit firmly at the top of the food chain for 25 million years. But all the glory came to a sudden halt on that day 66 million years ago. An asteroid with a diameter of 10 kilometers struck the Earth. The resulting tsunami reached heights of 300 meters. The dust that blotted out the sky caused global temperatures to plummet. Even more deadly, the dust kicked up by the impact blocked the sunlight. The entire Earth plunged into a long night lasting 3 years. Phytoplankton on the ocean's surface died off by 90% within a single week. The food chain began to collapse from the bottom up. So why did sharks, sea turtles, and crocodiles survive, while only the mosasaurs were completely wiped out? In 2020, UC Berkeley provided the answer. The survivors were all cold-blooded animals. Their metabolism could drop significantly with the environmental temperature. Sharks can enter a state similar to hibernation, allowing them to survive for months without eating anything. But mosasaurs were very likely warm-blooded animals. Their body temperature was 7 to 10 degrees higher than the surrounding seawater. Its body was like an engine that never stops. What makes you unable to stop is the necessity to constantly burn food to maintain body temperature. Unable to slow down, it ended like this. Within about 10 to 15 years after the asteroid impact, the last mosasaur on Earth died. A species that ruled the oceans for 25 million years disappeared completely just like that. But what makes me think deepest about this story is not how powerful the mosasaur was, but why it went extinct. Have you ever thought about a question? Mosasaurs ruled the oceans for 25 million years, while human civilization from the agricultural revolution to today is only about 10,000 years old. It took the mosasaur 20 million years to go from a 1-meter lizard to a 17-meter overlord of the ocean, standing at the absolute top of the food chain. It had no natural enemies, no opponents powerful enough to stop it from doing as it pleased. But it was precisely this excessive success that sowed the seeds of its destruction. When a species becomes so powerful that there are no longer any threats, it loses the drive to evolve. In its final 10 million years, the mosasaur underwent almost no significant evolution because it didn't need to change. It was already perfect until the environment suddenly changed. Those advantages that once made it invincible instantly turned into fatal shackles. Its massive body required a vast amount of food. Its warm-blooded constitution could not reduce energy consumption. Its highly specialized body structure left it unable to adapt to the new environment. This makes me think of human civilization. We are currently the most powerful species on Earth. We reshape nature, conquer the oceans, and fly into space. We feel that we are already invincible. But have you ever thought how similar we are to the mosasaurs of the Late Cretaceous? We also stand at the top of the food chain. We also have no natural enemies. We are also frantically consuming resources. A mosasaur needed to eat 500 kilograms of food every day. But the energy human civilization consumes daily is thousands of times the energy flow of the entire biosphere in the era of the mosasaur. The mosasaurs ruled the oceans for 25 million years before going extinct. Yet our industrial civilization has only developed for 200 years. 200 years versus 25 million years. This ratio is chilling. Even more terrifying, the mosasaur was destroyed by an asteroid, a natural disaster it could not control. But the climate change, ecological collapse, and resource depletion we face today are mostly caused by ourselves. That last Mosasaur 66 million years ago certainly wouldn't have understood how such a powerful creature could have ended up like this. Just like us today, it is hard to believe that human civilization will ever have an end. But the Mosasaur story tells us a cruel truth. On this planet, there is never an eternal ruler, only eternal change. The Mosasaurs are gone, but the lesson they left us is more worth remembering than their legend of ruling the oceans for 25 million years. Paleontology that you can definitely reincarnate into. Argentinosaurus. If you open your eyes and find yourself surrounded by several giants, 35 meters in length, looking at you affectionately, congratulations, you've been reincarnated as an Argentinosaurus, the terrestrial giant that wanted life just by lying down and eating. To give our new friends some background, the land where Argentinosaurus lived was Patagonia, Argentina, during the mid-Cretaceous, 95 million years ago. Earth has stacked all the exclusive survival buffs for you. This is a perfect home tailored just for you. You don't need to change any lifestyle. Just living according to your nature is enough. The 90% vegetation coverage here serves as a boundless free fodder factory. Tall ferns and gymnosperms are everywhere. Just by raising your neck, you can eat the freshest leaves and branches. There is absolutely no need to compete for food with other large herbivorous dinosaurs, because on this land, no creature dares to be your competitor. What's even more thoughtful is, the oxygen content here is as high as 25%, far exceeding the 21% of today. Paired with your built-in avian air sac system, unidirectional breathing maximizes oxygen utilization. Even while dragging a 70-ton body, you won't feel short of breath after a day of wandering. Your body's structure, every single part was born to survive effortlessly in this paradise. You don't need to exert any effort to stay alive. Others think your 70-ton weight would crush your skeleton, but your bones feature a hollow reinforced design. The 8-centimeter stick bone walls are more ingenious than a security door. Internal honeycomb-like supporting beams are aligned with the direction of stress, comparable to the hull of an aircraft carrier. It saves weight while remaining incredibly durable. You never worry about fractures when walking, running, or jumping. Your limbs do not have solid bone marrow, but are entirely adjustable hydraulic cartilage cavities. When stepping, body fluids flow toward hydraulic pumps to buffer the impact. Your ground pressure is only 1/3 that of an adult elephant. Even when stepping on soft mud, you won't sink in even a bit. Wandering across every inch of the South American plains, your steps remain light and easy. The way you eat takes the word easy to the absolute extreme. No need to struggle with chewing. No need to search hard for food. A feast awaits whenever you open your mouth. Your teeth are like sharp, shear-style little scissors. Having no molars has become your greatest advantage. One bite can cut through thick plant stems, saving time on grinding. The 30 centimeters wide esophagus is like a large bucket. Whole branches can be swallowed directly without having to nibble them bit by bit. In your 5 cubic meter stomach lives a symbiotic group of special fermenting bacteria. The digestive efficiency is 3 times that of a modern cow. Coarse fiber plants can be broken down rapidly. You also swallow a few pebbles occasionally to act as grinders in your stomach, perfectly solving the digestion problem of not chewing. The 400-meter-long intestines are covered in fine villi, leaving no dead ends for nutrient absorption. Muscular membranes at the end also allow for rapid excretion. Eating, digestion, and excretion form a smooth cycle. Eating tons of plants every day is like child's play. During your waking hours, you just stroll around and eat, never needing to worry about energy. Your life wins at the starting line from the moment you're in the egg. Everything goes smoothly the whole way, with almost no survival crisis. Your mother lays 1 egg every 2 to 3 years. The 1 centimeter thick eggshell is a natural protective shield. Just stay safely inside the egg for 3 months. Don't worry about being unable to get out of the thick shell. Acidic water seeping from the ground will slowly erode the eggshell to 2 millimeters. With a gentle nudge, you can break out of the shell. The whole process is effortless. At birth, you weigh only 5 kilograms. You look petite, but the predators of this land won't target the hatchlings as their primary goal. Moreover, your herd moves in units of 5 to 10 individuals, invisibly building a safety barrier for the young. No need to hide yourself away. The survival rate is far higher than imagined. Even more incredible is your growth speed. During your peak growth period, you can gain 40 kilograms per day. In 40 years, you easily grow from 5 kilograms to 75 tons. No fighting, no starving. Just lying around and eating makes you grow fast. After reaching adulthood at 15, you immediately unlock your status as a land overlord. As an adult, you live as the king of the plains with no natural enemies. You can walk anywhere on this land and no one dares provoke you, achieving complete survival freedom. Your hip height exceeds 7 meters. Even for a top predator 12 meters long, with a 10-ton bite force, they can't reach your vital spots even by jumping. This is the natural defensive barrier nature gave you. The 10 centimeters thick skin has 3 layers of sophisticated structure, with tough fibrous tissue underneath the skin, comparable to heavy armor. Even if bitten by a predator, it can easily block tooth penetration, protecting your internal organs from any harm. Not to mention your ultimate weapon, the tail. 15% of your body weight is concentrated in the tail muscles. The bones at the end are thick and hard. When swung, the impact force reaches up to 20 tons. One tail swipe can shatter the ribs of a Mosasaurus. If any predator dares to harass you, one move will teach them a lesson. You don't need to attack proactively, nor do you need to defend intentionally. Simply by standing there, your massive frame is enough to make all predators back away. Daily life consists only of wandering and eating, strolling and sunbathing, living as the most carefree prehistoric behemoth. You roamed these South American plains for millions of years, never making any changes that went against your nature for survival, because the environment Earth gave you was simply too friendly. Every part of your body structure perfectly matched this land. Going with the flow is the best way to survive. It doesn't require exerting all your strength, defying your nature, or struggling in harsh environments. Simply because you were born in the era that suited you best and had the most compatible living environment, you could easily stand at the peak of land creature sizes, living as a worry-free overlord. This is actually a lesson nature teaches us. Find the environment that suits you. Let your advantages perfectly mesh with your surroundings. Going with the flow is far more important than forcing or fighting through. The happy life of the Argentinosaurus has reached this point.